West Denver. Sleep deprived and heavily caffeinated.
All right, let's do this then.
This is the Jeff and Bill Show.
I don't agree with that.
They don't always agree, but hey, at least they have coffee.
Coffee.
And each other.
I love you, man.
God help us.
I want to bless him. We need all the help we can get.
Now here's Jeff Hunt and Bill Thorpe. The Jeff and Bill Show on News Talk 710 KNUS.
Yes! Tuesday morning, Mile High City, Jeff and Bill Show. October 21st, 2025. Good morning, Denver, Colorado. You've tuned in to the Jeff and Bill Show, News Talk 710 KNUS. Lots to talk about today. Did you see this fight that broke out in downtown Denver between the Giants fan? The dude trips bloody gash.
Yeah.
Over his eye, he yells a homophobic slur. He gets his glasses stolen. We'll give you the play-by-play on this. Denver police, though, have arrested 20-year-old Jose Cardenas for allegedly tripping the Giants fan in the video. Cardenas has been booked on second-degree assault, which is crazy. So that making the rounds. We'll talk about the Denver Communists making a lot of social media news as well with one of their signs at the protests over the weekend.
Yeah, they proved they're edgelords. Oh yeah, they're showing how brave they are to say the things that nobody else wants to say. That's again, you're like, I just want to pat them on the head and go, oh, they're so cute that you think this is something special and that you're being edgy. You're actually just being a bunch of asshats. But okay, fine, go right ahead.
Glad you
what
said
am I
it.
to do? Yeah,
jewelry heist in France made me look up some of the record jewelry heists here in Colorado. One of them just recent, $12 million out at Cherry Creek Mall. And the guy they caught still hasn't gone to trial. We'll talk about that in the 7 o'clock
I didn't know
hour.
that until you pointed that out to me. That was
Isn't that
crazy.
wild?
Yeah, we got to talk about this. Yeah.
This guy was running around too. He was like a touring thief, but spent 8 hours robbing the Hyde Park jewelry store at Cherry Creek Mall. 8 hours.
Yeah.
And the little mall cops came by because the alarm was tripped, and they looked around and then left.
Yeah.
And then they went back to it, which
Went
is
back
wild.
to it. Yeah, they kind of hid, and they again very clever. Kind of looks like some of the same way the Louvre.
Exactly right.
Yeah, was
dressed
pulled
up
off.
as the construction
Yep.
guys.
I know. There was a time in which you could almost guarantee with concerts to get yourself backstage if you just showed up with a pizza and a Domino's shirt. If you just get a Domino's shirt and a pizza, you'd go up, pizza delivery. They would just get, okay, backstage. Yeah. I know people that did it. I never did, but I know people that did. Yeah.
Representative Jarvis Caldwell, Colorado House Minority Leader, will be joining us in the 8 o'clock hour as Democrats continue to claim that there's not a crime problem here in Colorado. So
That's weird.
It's weird.
It is.
And then 7 people have been banned from Colorado casinos. But what's wild about the story in the Denver Post, not Colorado, Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania, where hundreds have had permanent bans from state casinos. Why?
Oh, yeah?
Because they leave their kids in the car while they decide to go gamble.
Your kids stay here. Watch Bluey. I'll be back in a sec. Mama's got a hot tip.
And the and the real reason is because the casinos are so close to everything. So mom, dad, picking up the kids from daycare, swinging by, go, hey, hold on a second.
Yeah.
Mom, dad's going to run inside the casino here. Whereas in Colorado, you got to drive an hour.
Takes a long time, yeah. But you can just be on the way home and you're like, hey, I got an idea how we can get you those new Jordans. Hang on, stay here for a sec. Just be quiet. And then run inside the casino. I know.
That's crazy to me. So lots to talk about today. Most importantly, though, we want you to be a part of the conversation. So give us a call at 303-696-1971 or text us on the Dan Campless Law text line at 720-819-5115. Now is time, though, for news and comment with Blake Olson.
Blake Olson.
Blake Olson, news and comment.
Hey, good Tuesday morning. Nice and chilly outside right now, 33 and clear. Expecting a high of 69 today, though, as the sun rises. And the sun will be shining today, so that is good news. News sponsored by Pastor Camp Heating and Air Conditioning at 303-777-1234 to learn more about special savings opportunities on Lennox equipment. Our top story, the Schumer shutdown caused by the Democrats, now at 3 weeks, tying for the second longest in U.S. history, and no end in sight. Another Senate vote failed Monday as Democrats insist on giving anyone who's not a citizen health care. That sounds like a great idea, right? Meanwhile, about 750,000 federal workers remain furloughed and others on the job without pay. The latest report from the University of Colorado shows the state has been heavily impacted by recent federal job cuts. Leeds School of Business Research Division Executive Director Brian Lewandowski, man, that is a long title. It's like 35 syllables there. Says the effects are outsized in comparison with Colorado's overall economic activity.
We're about the 21st or 22nd largest state when it comes to jobs and GDP, but we recorded the seventh greatest decline in federal government employment year over year in August.
Lewandowski says because of the state's concentration of institutions like the federal research laboratories, Colorado has a disproportionate exposure to some of the federal government restructuring. The report also included data about new business entity filings, which are up 7% year over year. Denver Mayor Johnston has agreed to some of the budget amendments recently requested by the city council. He'll add funding for 11 of the 16 amendments requested by the council, though some will not be fully funded. A Colorado man is facing charges in New Jersey after that deadly weekend crash. 41-year-old Christopher Neff of Westminster was arrested following the Sunday crash on the New Jersey Turnpike. Neff was driving the wrong way in the southbound lanes when he hit another vehicle head-on. 4 teens in the other vehicle were killed in the crash. Neff was hospitalized with serious injuries, which is still being investigated. Authorities have cleared a homeless encampment near a demolition site near Spear and 6th Avenue. Denver police officers helped people remove their belongings from an area near the former KMGH-TV building on Monday that's being demolished. Staff members from the Department of Housing and Stability visited the site earlier in the day to offer support and resources to people at the location. A person found at the encampment was arrested for outstanding warrants. I'm sure there may be a few in there with that situation. The World Series is set. The Blue Jays will take on Shohei Ohtani and the Dodgers. Game 1 Friday night in Toronto. Avs at the Mammoth tonight. Nuggets tip off the season Thursday at Golden State. CSU Athletic Director John Weber on Monday talked about firing head coach Jay Norvell after a 2-5 start to the season.
Coach Norvell built momentum for a program that deeply needed it, resulted in an 8-win season for us last year and culminated in a bowl game. But ultimately, progress was challenged.
And college football is big business, big business, and you have to win. You have to win within about 2 or 3 years, especially at the highest level. 31 in Englewood, 29 in Boulder, 33 in Denver. Jeff and Billy continue. It's Tuesday. It's chilly outside, but it's going to warm up. Blake Olson, News Talk 710 KNUS.
Your KNUS forecast for the Denver metro area is a cold one to kickstart this Tuesday. Freeze warning in place until 8 a.m. Low 30s this morning. Highs, though, pleasant. Sunshine and rebounding temperatures all the way to near 70 for a high today and again Wednesday. Tuesday and Wednesday nights not as chilly. Upper 30s. Low to mid 60s for highs Thursday into Friday. Some scattered rain showers. I'm meteorologist Mark Huer in the 710 KNUS Weather Center.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. Our friends over at Westward with the headline, Heated Denver Protest Altercation Leaves New York Giants fan bloody and booed. The No Kings protest that took place in Denver on Saturday, October 18th, resulted in several confrontations between protesters and police and counter-protesters, including one incident that left a middle-aged man, that's generous, I don't know if you saw the video.
Yeah. I feel better.
Yeah, right.
When he's calling him middle-aged, I'm like, oh, I am so youthful. This is great.
Right. Left him bloody and angry after he hurled a homophobic slur at protesters near Union Station. The No Kings protest split off into 3 marches during the day, including one that went down 16th Street past Union Station and through McGregor Square. While protesters were on Winecoop Street, several passing spectators shouted at them, including one who yelled, "Get a job!" A video circulating on social media shows the man who was eventually hurt yelling at protesters as they made their way past Union Station. The video captures taunts coming from a gray-haired man wearing glasses, a black vest, and a blue shirt with a New York Giants logo. I think at this point, probably in the day, they had lost. Is that right?
No, it'd be Saturday. So it's before the game.
Oh, it's before.
So it's prior. So they're in town prior to the football game. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're in town prior
You're right.
to. Yeah. Which I think is interesting. And the other part that I saw that I thought was interesting was it looked like a group of, again, older men, probably Giants fans, probably from out of town, just guessing because of the legion of Giants gear, is that they chose to start yelling at the protesters. Kind of like, and again, we talked about this off the air. I had this conversation with my kids when they're growing up and speak to them and go, when you started this portion of your side of the conversation, what did you expect to happen? What was the outcome you expected here? And wandering by a large group of protesters, yeah, exactly, screaming at them, I'm like, what did you think was going to happen in your mind? I just don't know where he thought this was going. But yeah, continue on the story because it gets interesting.
Well, the man's identity hasn't surfaced, but he appears to be in his 60s. Yeah, that's why it's not middle-aged.
Yeah, don't know. That's...
We love you, Westward, but not middle-aged.
But again, if that's middle-aged, I will happily embrace that because I'm screaming closer and closer to that, much closer than you are, my friend. So
if that's middle-aged, I don't want to live to 120. Good night.
That's great. If that can still be middle-aged, that's wonderful. I'd feel better about that. Yeah.
He was with 5 to 6 other guys who looked to be around the same age, also wearing Giants gear. These guys, from my perspective, and this is not confirmed at all, either in the article or in any other capacity, but probably... little tipsy.
Yeah. Maybe one or two adult beverages, yeah. That could make sense. Yeah. I'm being generous. I'm being nice. I have no idea. I can't judge because I don't know. But the behavior leads you to believe, only because we all know that that more alcohol gives you that liquid courage.
Yes,
You're more likely to say things in public you may not normally. Yeah.
Goodness. All right. As the group passes Amante Coffee at 1612 17th Street, walking away from protesters in front of Union Station, the gray-haired man can be heard chanting, "God bless Trump," while his friends seem to be chanting along, though a little out of sync.
Yeah, that's the other part where I thought that maybe a little inebriated because they can't keep rhythm. And again, you've been at concerts, you've seen that too. You're like, you're not on the rhythm. Oh, well, that's okay.
Then it gets uglier. The Giants fan leading the chant turns around to flip off protesters who shout back. One or two people can be heard yelling at the top of their lungs, and the man responds with a homophobic slur.
Yeah.
A young man wearing a black shirt, jeans, a black beanie, and carrying a skateboard.
Well, actually, a New York Yankees black beanie, which I think is interesting given the fact that it's a Giants fan. Yeah, he's wearing a New York Yankees beanie, which I'm sitting there going, that's interesting. But okay, continue.
Welcome to New York.
Yeah.
Is walking ahead of the Giants fan when he hears the slur. Immediately after the young man hears it, he takes the older man's sunglasses and sprints off. A brief foot chase follows until the older man trips face first onto the 17th Street pavement. He gets up, looks a little dazed, but keeps pursuing the young man.
Now, when you imagine the older guy that is chasing down the skateboarder who has stolen his sunglasses, what you should visualize is imagine it is that senior softball league and it is late in the ninth inning and someone has hit a long fly ball and someone has to race home and try to slide in order to win the game and they don't quite make it. That's basically what it is. Just kind of like a stop right there on the pavement. It looked like it hurt a lot. I felt bad for him. That was horrible.
Yeah, you're exactly right. It looked really painful because I think his face is what broke the fall.
Yeah, he led with his face. Not a good thing. Yeah, not at all. Which again, alcohol sometimes leads to that.
That's it. That's part of the issue
so
here.
Many things. Yes, so many things.
Because that it like clicked off that part of his brain where he goes 20-year-old versus 65-year-old.
Yeah, exactly. I can race and chase him down. I'm like, no.
Get back here.
Darn it. Yeah. Oh, boy. So, yeah, but that does not deter him. He gets up and continues his valiant chase. Even though he's losing his pants, kind of. Oh, wow.
Shortly after, westward continues, the Giant fan appears to be tripped by another protester. And he falls into a gutter, sustaining a bloody gash about his left eyebrow. Protesters try to calm the Giants fan and restrain him, but he responds by shoving them, determined to get his sunglasses back. Now, they could have been prescription. They could have been quite costly.
They could be very expensive. He could be doing some of those, high-end Ray-Bans or something else. So I can understand that. That's why 90% of my sunglasses are dime store. Because of that. Not because people stealing them, just because I'm stupid and I break them.
Yep.
Yeah.
A protester can be heard yelling, "You bumped into me," before getting shoved by the now enraged Giants fan. Another older man who has been chanting "God bless Trump" is also shoved as he follows his friend. The No Kings protest drew more than 8,000 people, which is interesting. That's what I found this intriguing as well. That comes from the Colorado State Patrol. Because the organizers were saying 30,000.
Oh, yeah. Organizers always like the number, though. In all honesty, the only organizer that I've never heard inflate a crowd size is yourself, my friend. The idea that you're very accurate about how many people showed up to see Romney. You do it now. If this was another organization, people go, "Oh, my God, we had 18,000 people at Red Rocks for Romney." No, you didn't. Yeah, most of them inflate. Most of them. You're the only person I've ever run across that organizes those events that's accurate, my friend. The only one.
I appreciate that. That's because Billy Graham did it as well. When he started his ministry, he said, "I'm always going to rely upon what the fire marshal says," because you do fall into that trap.
Oh, absolutely.
Because you want to make it look great to donors and everybody. Like, I'm broke records. In Denver, about a dozen protesters ended up in cuffs on charges such as graffiti, possessing a knife, assaulting a peace officer. According to Denver police, nearly all of the arrests took place during the 3 marches that broke out after the rally during the Capitol. The update was that the guy that did the tripping, so not the one that took the sunglasses originally, but the guy who stuck out his foot, and that was intentional.
Yeah, and the part that's important about this is as the older man, the Giants fan, that we're, again, assuming Giants fan, is chasing down the younger kid to get his sunglasses back, there is a person that we only see him from behind, well, I'll profile a little bit, but mostly from behind, comes into the frame from the right-hand side and leans out his hand. He's holding a scooter at the time, leans out his foot, and specifically tries to trip the guy as he's running by. So it's not just the instance of the guy's standing there, he turns and then trips. He makes an effort and has to move himself several feet in order to get into the path of the man who is running and then make the affirmative move to trip him. So yeah, can that be a crime? Sure, absolutely. Absolutely in that case. Absolutely.
So, lesson learned here, Mr. Thorpe. Make better decisions.
Yes, in public. Yes.
Especially if you've had a few beers.
And if you want to start yelling homophobic slurs, take off your sunglasses. And yeah, and the thing is, if you watch the very beginning, because what I was looking at is I went back to the beginning of the video over and over and over again because I'm trying to figure out where Skateboard Man comes from. Because what happens is he's not there in the original group chanting, and then a couple of seconds away, it's about third or fourth chant, he appears and comes into the back of the group. I can't see if he's coming out of the protest or if he's just someone that is there kind of casually maybe agreeing with the protest and is not in the larger protest, but he appears in the group and he does the thing where you want to get acceptance by the group. He starts to almost chant along with them.
Yeah.
I don't think he's full-throated, but he's kind of like waving his hand. You can see his mouth moving the same things. So I'm wondering what his goal was. I'm pretty sure he was just trying to get into that group to cause a problem.
Yes.
Now, I do appreciate that the problem that he caused wasn't of a physical nature. I don't condone him stealing the person's sunglasses, but thank you, at least at your young age, because this is a young person. My guess is under the age of 23.
Yeah, and carrying a skateboard.
Yep, exactly. I appreciate that you at least had the maturity to not make this physical and hit, push, anything else. Yes, you did something childish like, hey, got your hat, and you run away like you did on the playground. That's what we did when we were in 4th and 5th grade. Okay, it's childish, it's immature. I don't agree with what you've done, but thank you for at least being mature enough to not start throwing punches. I appreciate that. It's little victories here.
Well, and anyone who's watched the movie Kids knows that skateboards can get
Yes, they can. Yes, they can.
Well, speaking of being immature, the Denver Communists.
Yeah.
They had a nice sign.
Yeah, they did. This was again for me. What was your talk to first the audience, talk about what the sign said, and then I want to have your reaction to it because I've got a reaction to it as well.
Yeah, 2 pictures featured on Libs of TikTok. One shows a group of what I assume are women, but you never know with this crowd. Politicians don't die like they used to, and it's a picture of Donald Trump's head exploding from a gunshot wound. Another one says, make assassinations great again. Surprisingly, they have nose rings. And then the second picture, it's the Denver Communist book display. They always have this, by the way. I always go down, when I go down to those protests, and the communists always have books, and they give them away for free. So if you want to be educated with your little communist thinking, they'll give you a book for free. One book says Unbuild the Walls. Another one says Feminism for the 99%. Palestine and Marxism was another book. Enemy Feminism is another book. So those are the books you can pick up at the Denver Communist little book fair. But then below it, there's a sign that says, Charlie Kirk had it coming. Change my mind. And a little picture of the hammer and circle next to it.
What'd you think of that as far as that sign? Because it's a little more personal to you than it is to me based on you were friends with him. So I'm sitting a little bit further away. So I was real curious about your reaction to that.
I'm intrigued. It makes me think about the time we're living in and the work that for instance, my wife and I are trying to do to build this state, because my wife has now had 16 of her signs attacked and destroyed over the last 30 days with swastikas. Now they're cutting the signs and destroying the signs, stealing the signs. And my wife is like the nicest, kindest person out there. I mean, she's a rock solid social conservative. She believes what she believes, but she's not a firebrand like I am. And so to watch my family go and have our signs constantly destroyed, watching my friend publicly executed, I've been assaulted at these events, and then to see signs like Charlie Kirk had it coming, my heart breaks for the direction of our state right now. And then to say and to recognize that not the communists entirely, but the left side of the political spectrum has total political control of the state, to where they have near supermajority power down at the Colorado State Capitol. My heart breaks for the state of Colorado. That's what happens when I see that.
Yeah.
It just makes you sad.
Yeah, for me, it's... Again, I go back to the guy with the skateboard, that he showed maturity. For me, this is a definite lack of maturity. This is the idea of, I'm going to be the edgelord. I'm going to say the things that nobody else wants to say. I am not afraid. I will show you how strong I am. It's something that happens mostly between the ages of 16 and about 25. Some of us grow out of it. Some of us don't. That it happens. And what I saw in the people that were in the pictures and the signs they were holding, that's what they were doing. They were trying to find those statements, those signs that would create an emotional reaction and go viral. And that's exactly what they did. But they didn't think about the overarching consequence, or what I would say is the intellectual dishonesty of the statements they were making. The idea that Charlie Kirk had it coming is abhorrent on so many levels, because it gives permission for that kind of violence, and also, on another hand, celebrates it, and then is tacitly calling for more. And that's atrocious. But I understand, and again, when the idea is it's the, here's the statement, change my mind, that's a meme. That's the meme of the guy sitting in the park with the 8-foot table, and then everyone changes the sign in front of
Steven Crowder,
them.
yep.
Yeah. So that's what it is they're taking that meme and trying to be as edgy as possible. And it's stupid and it's immature. And for me, while they accomplish their goal of going viral, if you want to be, again, speaking to the Colorado communists, if you want to have a credible seat at the table in which people will actually listen to what you say, your problems are, and your possible solutions, you need to learn to behave better. This does not mean the way you're acting and the signs that you have means that you deserve a seat at the table, because you, based on the messages you are using, are proving yourselves to be unserious. There's no reason anybody in Colorado should listen to a damn thing you say after that sign. It's ridiculous on its face. It is a stupid statement. It is unconscionable to make that in public and then to be proud about it and want it to go viral. It's silly. It's dumb.
And Bill, I appreciate that. And I think, too, it puts you right into the claims that people often made that communist countries kill people.
Yeah.
Anywhere
absolutely.
from, I'm looking this up, low estimates, 20 million, as high as 148 million people
excellent.
have died under Soviet communism, Chinese Maoist communism.
All the time. We can even go into the current dictatorship inside of Russia. I mean, for whatever reason, Russia keeps building high-rise buildings with windows that open, and people fall out of them regularly if you're a political opponent of Vladimir Putin. I would assume there'd be some sort of an OSHA-type regulation that would say, we got a lot of people falling out of windows. Maybe we don't open them as wide. Yeah. No, we couldn't eliminate our opponents if we did that. So there are all sorts of histories of that.
Communists murder their political opponent.
Yes.
And then you go
dissent
down.
is intolerant. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And then you go down to the Denver Communists at the No Kings party or rally, and what is it? Charlie Kirk had it coming.
Yeah. And again, the question that I have for them is, why do you deserve a seat at the table to have a serious conversation about the direction of this state or the direction of this country if that is the message you are going to put forward at this type of protest? Why should anybody in Colorado listen to anything that you have to say about our politics, about our fiscal problems, about our housing, about our immigration, if that is the message that you are placing front and center? Why? What is that accomplishing other than, hey, you proved that you're edgy and you proved you can go viral for having offensive stuff on a sign? I'm sorry. I can go down to most middle schools in Denver and the surrounding area today, and I can find some kids that are going to make edgy signs for me as well, and we can go viral. It's not a sign of maturity. It's not a sign of intellectualism. It's not a sign of anybody who is serious. That's it. You want us to take you serious? That's why you're down there with your silly book display. You want us to take you serious, and you want us to listen to what you have to say. Start choosing better words. Then maybe you might be able to have a seat at the table, but not until you prove that you can act like mature adults. You're acting like silly middle school children, and you should be discounted as such. No one should have to listen to anything you say. And you had a friend of the show, Deep Singh Badesha, on here.
Yeah.
I would be curious if he would go and sit behind that table and he would stand there behind that display with signs like that. Would he take selfies with people that had T-shirts that expressed that? And is that the kind of messaging that if he was behind closed doors talking about the way they need to present themselves at these type of protests, is that the message that he would advocate for? I don't believe he would. I could be wrong. I personally, based on my interactions with him, don't believe he would lean into these messages. I think he would say, hey guys, maybe we need to act more like serious adults rather than like middle school children. But they didn't. But you look at those pictures, they're kids and they're stupid. But you got what you wanted. However, you're not going to get what you actually want, which is to be taken seriously. But that's your fault. You did that to yourselves in public. We're just talking about it and showing everybody else what you did. It's on you, not on us. Not on us, the fact that we don't have to take your elements, your gritches, or your ideas seriously. Because when you're in public, you don't present yourself as serious people. That's it.
There you go. Bill Thorpe. Wow. Bringing me
back.
Heat. He is back. All right, friends, let's talk Black Eyed Pea of Colorado, locally owned and operated by Steve and Michelle. I absolutely love this restaurant. My whole family does. In fact, they've got 8 locations all throughout Denver, so there's sure to be one near you. You're looking for that restaurant that's Maha healthy, locally sourced, that the entire family will like, your parents, you, and the kids. Take the family out to eat at Black Eyed Pea. Go online at blackeyedpeacolorado.com and check out their featured menu that they run throughout different seasons. Right now, they've got the Spuds. Who doesn't love a good baked potato? Check out their sweet pork spud, a sweet potato topped with pulled pork drizzled with barbecue sauce, cheddar and Monterey Jack cheese, and green onions. They have a chopped steak spud, a south of the border spud, a cheeseburger spud, a pot roast stuffed spud, plus more. See their menu at blackeyedpeacolorado.com. Your dinner party, rehearsal dinner, wedding reception, or company event will be a success with Black Eyed Pea Catering, and Black Eyed Pea gift cards are always perfect for your spouse birthday favors or holiday presents, or as a thank you to someone special. Get them a gift card. I love this restaurant. I know you will too. Keep it in Colorado. Visit a Black Eyed Pea near you. All right, join the conversation. Give us a call. 303-696-1971. Text us on the Dan Caplis Law Text line at 720-819-5115. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's talk leader, News Talk 710, KNUS.
Wake up, Denver. There's no better place to start your morning than IHOP, where the pancakes are fluffy, the coffee is hot, and the smiles are endless. Wednesday, October 22nd, join Jeff and Bill as they broadcast their show live from IHOP at 9565 South University Boulevard in Highlands Ranch. You're officially invited to be part of the excitement. Come grab your favorite breakfast and watch the Jeff and Bill Show in action from 6 to 10 a.m. Don't forget to try the special Jeff and Bill breakfast. Pancakes, any style eggs, and crispy bacon, all for just $7.10. It's a deal as good as their hot takes. All they need is you. Bring your appetite, bring your friends, and kick off your day with great food and great conversation. See you Wednesday, October 22nd at IHOP.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. Let's go to the phone lines. Always love to hear from him. Joe Arvada. Good morning, Joe. You're on with Jeff and Bill.
How are you?
Good morning, Jeff. Billy.
Yeah.
That was so awesome.
We got to use that on the promo right there.
Billy,
yeah.
I will tell you we've got a Big Ten over here. Welcome in.
Oh, man. I really, really appreciate the invitation. However, I think it would take me about a half an hour to then be labeled as a rhino and be thrown right back out.
Well, I think the big tent is we don't like communists.
Yeah, I can get into that one.
Well,
yeah, I can join that one
that's a
any day of the
big
week.
tent.
Yeah, absolutely.
What you said there embodies I mean, a lot of where I think we need to go. One, it doesn't matter what age you are. You're a child if you have this murderous communist viewpoint. And it doesn't, and as a good example of that, look at James Comey. What? 86-47. I had an 80-year-old woman tell me, when will they hurry up and get rid of Donald Trump? It doesn't matter if you're 11 or 91. If you have a communist murderous viewpoint, you're a baby intellectually. Jesus told us, if you have hate in your heart for somebody, it's the same as if you were a murderer. And these people hate Charlie Kirk, they hate Donald Trump, and they want him off because they have the same problem that Cain had for Abel. And these people hated Jesus. Now I say that. People look at that and say, well, Jesus lived 2,000 years ago. Well, the same hate in your heart is why the crowd voted for Barabbas over Jesus.
I got a question for you, Joe, on this one. What do you think the point was for those kids to show up at the rally with those signs? Just playing pretend. What do you think those conversations were like to get to the point where they had agreement on, here are the messages we want to send, and not just go that far, but signs we are going to print and then proudly display in public? How do you think they got to that conclusion? Because I think that's fascinating, the series of bad decisions that would have to be made to get there.
Well, I think if nothing that's happened today hasn't happened in the past. You have to ask yourself, how did this mentality evolve? At what point did the communists decide that they had to murder their opposition? And what it really boils down to is when you have no argument, when you know you're evil, when you know you're wrong, the only way to gain a foothold is to get on the side of the enemy. And I mean by that, again, that's larceny, the murder, the hate, the kill, the destroy mentality. And that's what happens in Marxism. The family has to be destroyed. The move towards abortion is a Marxist move. I will tell you this. When they planned to take care of Jesus, it was the exact same planning that they are making. See, the same larceny in their heart is what evolves this kind of mentality.
Well, Joe, I see our natural human state, and I think you see this throughout the world, base human state is chaotic and tribal. And Christianity, Judeo-Christianity, steps into a naturally chaotic and tribal world and puts order around that, right? God is a God of order. So the law is universal, no matter who you are. The 10 Commandments are universal, no matter who you are. That was kind of the inbreaking of Judaism that was unique at that time point, was that in the midst of all those, think the Babylonians, think all those different tribes that were around at that time. And Moses comes in and says, no, there's one God. Here's his law. This is what the law says, and it's applicable to you at all points in history, at all time. And then And then you start to see society start to order around that. Christianity comes in, and the Sermon on the Mount is such a radical departure from that tribalism and that chaos where it says, blessed are the peacemakers, and to love your enemy, to pray for those that persecute you. Christianity has this tempering on society that's really important because we talked about this the day after Charlie died. If you look at society purely in a utilitarian, I win, you lose type of mentality, then just kill your opponent. Right? It's just super easy to do that. Kill your opponent, take what he has, and your life is easier. And Christianity has that tempering on that chaotic tribalism that says, no, there is one God. You are to live according to his dictates. You need to have self-control, and that includes loving your enemy and praying for those that persecute you.
Well, I have two immediate thoughts. One, this shows how brilliant Donald Trump, his administration, was to establish the Abrahamic Accords. Why? Because the division spiritually in this really entire world comes down to the division between Isaac and Ishmael. Yep. Now, anybody who studies that will understand that there's an enmity between the descendants. And by the way, I am a descendant of Ishmael, but I may be also a descendant somewhere along the way of Isaac. It's possible to be both. The point is that the uniting of that division, the exponentiation of that division, in other words, to try to reconcile, the reconciliation of that division is what has to happen if we want to get along in this world.
Now, Joe, Arvada, we got to run here, but I sure appreciate the call. Thank you, my friend. By the way, Joe, come out and see us. We'll be at the IHOP tomorrow.
Yes, we
Wednesday.
will. Tomorrow.
We'd love to see if you could swing by. So IHOP in Highlands Ranch, 6 to 10 a.m.
Yep, just off the university. Come on out, see us. We'll do something that's coming up next. You choose the news live in front of you.
That's right.
Yeah.
You can be a part of the whole show. And we always have a lot of fun, so we'd love to see you.
Yeah, we do.
You're listening to the Jeff and Bill Show.
News Talk 710 KNUS.
Yes, Bill and I were mentioning we'll be at the IHOP tomorrow for a live broadcast from 6 to 10. We bring out all the equipment. You get to see what the production looks like to put this on. We get to hang out with you, share a nice breakfast. We'll have some political guests there working on some of the school board candidates that are running for office. Invited Bob Marshall, state rep. We'll see if he shows up as well. So everyone's welcome to be a part of it. It's always a lot of fun. Tomorrow, Highlands Ranch, IHOP off of University. And you'll get to see Bill. Do you choose the news in person?
Yes, you will, just like we are going to do right now. It is time for America's favorite fake radio news game show. You know what that means? Silly stories that we sometimes cross the edge. But why are we allowed to do something this completely frivolous and ridiculous at 6:52 in the morning here on 710 KNUS? Because once Jeff and I found out that all the people in charge don't wake up until 7, yeah, when we're left unsupervised, weird things happen. Alrighty, so you choose the news. You know how this works. Stories that I find on the interwebs, I give them more ridiculous headlines so that we can play this fake radio news game show. And as always, Blake Olson is in the newsroom joining us for this one. Alrighty, here we go, gentlemen. Your stories this morning. Headline number 1, like a video pre-roll. Headline number 2, piecing together a crime. Headline number 3, deuces. And headline number 3, incredible volunteer response. Mr. Hunt, your choice.
Let's piece together the crime.
Yeah, let's piece together a crime. California law enforcement was trying to piece together a crime involving things that go together rather well. Specifically, Legos. Santa Rosa police began investigating an organized retail theft fencing operation against Robert Lopez, 39, last month. The department announced just recently, and he was arrested for allegedly stealing hundreds of thousands of Legos to resell them at vastly inflatable prices as part of a theft ring. Yeah, well, it's no good if you steal them and sell them lower. It doesn't work that way. Well, police said Lopez was directing others to steal expensive Lego sets, purchasing the stolen property at reduced prices, then selling them either as individual minifigurines or pieces as vastly inflated prices. Detectives reviewed footage and conducted surveillance and collaborated with organized retail theft investigators at Target, Walmart, and other locations. They saw evidence that he was actively involved in organizing what they were going to target, what stores they were going to hit, who, when, where, and the actual sets they were stealing. Over $6,000 worth of stolen Legos was found in his home. He had bins and bins and bins of them spread throughout his house where he had organized them. So all the valuable minifigurines were in one. Valuable pieces and other sets were in another bin. So he knew what he was doing.
And then when the cops raided his house, he threw them on the ground and said, "You can't walk on these.
You can't get this. Trying to get me now, copper." Alrighty. Okay, Blake, your choice, sir. Like a video pre-roll, deuces, or incredible volunteer response.
Like a video pre-roll.
Yes, just like a video pre-roll. That's what they're doing in China right now. Hey, you're going to have to pop a squat in a public restroom in China? Well, in order to get that valuable toilet paper, you're going to have to watch some advertisements. Yes, China is now putting mounted paper dispensers into their public restrooms in which you will have to scan a QR code and watch ads before the machine is going to give you any of the valuable paper. Yes, now you can bypass this by paying to get the paper as well. Now, the problem is in Chinese public restrooms, people were running in and stealing a lot of the paper. And they thought, no more free paper. So in order to reduce the waste in public facilities, they're going to make you watch some ads first. Just like a YouTube pre-roll.
Wow.
I know.
It actually makes sense. You got to watch that beep before you...
I know it's
clean
so,
the.
Yeah, I know. It's weird though, the idea that wait until they get an idea of that over here. There's so many things. And then what advertiser is going to go? Hey, I know what you're doing right now. How about we talk about it?
You remember when you told us that they were running ads on those refrigerators?
Yes,
too?
Yeah, the smart refrigerators. Yeah, now it's inside. the
Look,
restaurants.
I'm a capitalist, but not this much.
Yeah, that's a little crazy.
I don't want
Alrighty, Jeff, your choice, sir. Deuces or incredible volunteer response?
Incredible volunteer response.
Incredible volunteer response. That's what the Ocean City Police Department said recently. They were overwhelmed by the number of citizen volunteers that wanted to help them with an upcoming training event. They were so proud about their community, but maybe slow down a little bit. It may not be as what you think it is. See, the department posted a call for participants on social media looking for about a dozen people to help them smoke cannabis and look at how it impacts your decision-making abilities. Whole bunch of potheads said, dude, I can do that. I'm already doing it now. I'll come do it with the cops. That'd be so cool. Yeah, so they said we got way too many people volunteering to get high with the cops. So, yeah. All right. That's the
Supreme
idiot
Court will be hearing a case that you can get high and buy a gun. So,
what could go wrong?
You're listening to the Jeff and Bill Show.
710 KNUS. We'll be right back.